Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for being here today. I'm just so delighted to see so many friends and familiar faces and people that I haven't seen for a while. This reminds me of the older days of the Adcraft and what it used to be like at these luncheons, and hopefully going forward that we can have more events like this, although I have a feeling it probably has something to do with our speaker today and not with me. I think it's been about 4 or 5 years since we last had GM Day, so this is definitely a historic occasion for us. As you probably know, we've had a few changes at GM the last couple of years, a couple of changes in leadership, agency changes, CMOs in and out of town. So it's been a little bit difficult for us to pull together a GM Day. We used to always have a GM Day, a Ford Day, and a Chrysler Day, so I'm pleased that we're bringing back that tradition today. And I'm especially proud, obviously, of today's program because it's near and dear to my heart. And I know now for our guest speaker, Mr. Ferguson. He is one of the most influential individuals in the global automotive market as VP of Cadillac Global. As the son of Christian missionaries, Bob spent much of his childhood in Asia, something he says is helping him navigate his current assignment, which includes leading marketing, brand management, and advertising for Cadillac around the globe. I think I speak for most of us when I say we understand the importance of developing relationships and the importance of navigating change in order to maintain relevance. And I know in this community in particular, we've gone through a lot of change. And I know that having all of you here today is really a tribute to the way Detroit has been able to survive some of the economic and civic turbulence we've had in this town. It takes courage, and it takes some pretty hefty leadership skills, and I think all of you exhibit that. But most importantly, I think it's a credit to us to have Bob sharing those same skill sets as the leader of our organization at Cadillac. We appreciate him very much being here today, taking some time out from his very busy schedule to join us and share with us his thoughts on Cadillac and where the brand is going to go under his leadership as we seek to become again an iconic luxury brand around the globe. So without further ado, please give your warmest Detroit welcome to Mr. Bob Ferguson.
This is the second speech I've made this week. The first one was before 110 financial analysts. Those speeches, they get your attention too. The analysts can step out and sell 1 million shares if you don't say the right thing, or buy 1 million shares. So I don't know whether it's more intimidating to speak to a bunch of financial analysts or those who are in the persuasion business for a living. I'm delighted to be here with the Cadillac team and very proud to work with members of the Cadillac team and admire the job they do and grateful for the opportunity to work side by side with each one of them. They're great people, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And by the way, you can tell I've lived all over the world. I went to 13 schools in 12 years. And, we've lived on the West Coast, lived in the Midwest, we've lived in Washington, D.C. I'm going to tell you that something I tell everybody. I think Detroit is hugely underrated. We live out in a great area. We bought a house out of the Franklin area, and we're just having a great time. Our neighbors are friendly. This town has its challenges. Every city I've lived in has its challenges. But, my Texas relatives who are asking me what it's like to live around all those Yankees, I'm telling them, come on up. This is a great place to live. So it's a good time to be at Cadillac, and I think that's putting it mildly. We're making lots of progress, and it feels good to have a little bit of wind at our back. In fact, I think as you may have heard, Cadillac is growing faster than any time since the 1970s. Last time we grew this fast, Rocky was at the movie theaters. 2 guys named Steve got together and formed a company called Apple, and IBM in 1976 introduced the first laser printer. So I don't know about you, but I think it's fascinating that a 110-year-old brand is the fastest growing in this great industry. Cadillac's just slightly older than your ad club. So this club and this brand are survivors, just like Detroit is. But, I don't think that happens by accident. It happens because of hard work from a lot of people in this room here, and the vision of what we call true believers, those who know what Cadillac once was and believe what it can be again. And we're going to take Cadillac, I'm confident, to much higher ground. So we're working to sustain our current trajectory, and we're working hard on the brand because we think it's a brand with a purpose and with a wonderful heritage. You know, the global luxury auto market right now is growing faster than the mainstream part of the industry. Part of that is because of the dynamics in places like China and Russia and in the Middle East. But that's a growth area, and it's also a very profitable area. So as Sherry mentioned, Cadillac is at the heart of our growth plan for General Motors. We need to seize that opportunity, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm here, is to help us grow on an international basis. In fact, we see an opportunity to strike an important and what I would call a positive blow for this brand, one that we're so fortunate and proud to represent. And, you know, by an extension, I think Cadillac's fortunes are tied a little bit to the reputation of Detroit. We get Cadillac growing the right way, it has to reflect well on this great city. So it's a privilege and a great opportunity. And also, you know, I think it's an obligation. You think about luxury brands. I would be hard to call out an American luxury brand that is longer lasting or over its heritage has been more. So we'll judge ourselves every day by the numbers on the sales sheet. And we were in a meeting, Greg, about the numbers just before we came here. But we're going to take the long-term view on this brand. We know that this brand diminished and frankly was damaged over 30 years of neglect. And we won't rescue this brand overnight, but we're on a journey. And the board and the executive leadership of General Motors recognizes that we need a sustained effort, a long-term strategy to bring Cadillac back to the place it should be. If you accept the notion, and I like this, that a brand is a story, then I want to proffer to you that Cadillac is very much an epic tale. All the classic elements are there. The hero is bold, virtuous, admirable, and driving vision. Only circumstances will start to reveal our hero's flaws. Think back to the early days. The setting is vast, much like Detroit at the time, encompassing great times. Stakes are enormous, but unseen pitfalls await each step. So let's look at Act 1. Act 1 of perhaps the Cadillac story. Maybe we could say it's in part of the Detroit story. So Cadillac is born. Daring ambition, obsessive precision, immediately different, willing to lead. It becomes iconic, synonymous with aspiration, achievement, and dreams. As literary tradition holds, the hero falters in Act 2. And you know what? In Cadillac, we didn't disappoint. We became complacent, just as our rivals were emerging and changing the rules of the game, a game that I think Cadillac invented. For decades, what had luxury been about? It had been about size, it had been about opulence. Well, the Germans and others changed the rules by adding performance to the luxury equation. And Cadillac was unprepared. Cadillac was caught off guard. So welcome to Act 3. Tradition holds that the hero is redeemed. And I come from a family of Christian missionaries, right? We believe in redemption. I hope so. So our hero emerges as, I'd say, more virtuous, more determined, a better version of its former self, maybe humbled and wiser. But you know, redemption isn't given. It's kind of earned. In fact, I think redemption must be taken. So we ask ourselves the question at Cadillac every day: how daring are we willing to be to get a second round of momentum? Can we take Cadillac to the next level as a luxury player? I like the word daring. For example, are we daring enough to ask our dealers at the height of GM bankruptcy to upgrade their facilities and present a consistent Tier 1 image? Well, we were, and we did. Are we daring enough to come to market with the first luxury vehicle of its kind, the ELR? We are, and we will, very soon. Are we daring enough to step up in the most competitive area of luxury, the sports sedan class, and introduce a new vehicle? Well, we did with the ATS. And the report card is in early on the ATS. 50% of ATS buyers dispose of a competitive vehicle, many of them BMWs and Mercedes. 70% of ATS buyers are new to Cadillac. How do they like the product? They love it. 96% are satisfied with the vehicle. The ATS is changing the culture, the brand of Cadillac. One statistic I like very much is that sales are up 15% on the West Coast and in New York. Those are places where Cadillac has struggled for a long time. Average buyer, or 20% of the buyers are less than 35 years old. Those are statistics that we dreamed of when we introduced the ATS. So, we need to create a Cadillac experience that's holistic, complete, and consistent, not only here, but around the world. And it's got to be persuasive, just as you're persuasive in the work you do every day. We need to become a true north for consumers who are forming a new definition of luxury. And it all starts with products, and I think we have great products and products that are getting better. In fact, at Cadillac, we say our vehicles are our truth. They're bold, they're unapologetic, and they're daring. And we need to live up to that with everything we do every day. We have to be daring enough, even in the face of 3 product launches, to ask ourselves, is our advertising good enough? Can it be better? Is it driving the levels of consideration and opinion we need, given Cadillac's ambitions here and around the world? The answer, by the way, is it can always be better. There's always room for improvement. And if we learned anything from Cadillac's second act, it's that complacency is death. Certainly near death. And we can't settle for that. We need to be great again. So we've made progress. But we felt like the work we had in the marketplace was good, very good, and created by some incredibly talented and dedicated people. But it wasn't going to get us where we needed to be on opinion, consideration, driving sales, and finding the right representation internationally. So we're on a journey to recapture luxury leadership in the U.S. and to capture share in the fastest growing luxury markets on the planet. So we need the right partner on hand to help us do that. And to that end, we've recently completed a review of our advertising work, and we're beginning a new partnership with Rogue. I don't know where the name came up with. I knew the headline would be Cadillac Goes Rogue. Rogue is the creative firepower of Hill Holliday, the global reach of Lowe, and the powerful integration, capability, and experience of Detroit's own Campbell Ewald. In many ways, I think Cadillac, no pressure by the way, guys, Cadillac is a marketer's dream. There's so much emotional territory to explore the Cadillac brand, with the product integrity, I think, to back it up. Based on the creative discussions we've had so far, I'd say things are about to get really interesting. Having said that, conducting an agency review with 3 product launches looming is not for the faint of heart, but it can be done. Again, if we're going to be daring enough to write our own third act, we need to be willing to make some tough decisions. How do we know it'll be worth it? What will success look like? I'll answer that in terms of Cadillac's mission, which is not to be confused with Cadillac's purpose. Our mission comes down to metrics. We've been given much, and I think much is expected. Simply stated, we have to sell more Cadillacs, and we have to take share. In the U.S., success means returning to luxury sales leadership, and then defending that position every day, as though we remember what it took to capture it. In China, where I'll be next week, Success requires that we move with lightning speed to capture significant market share in the fastest growing luxury market. We're positioned to do that. We're building Cadillacs in China in ever-increasing numbers. And we're building a network of dealers that I would put against any in the industry. In the Middle East, success means continuing to build the brand and to build market share. In Western Europe, what some would call the cradle of automotive luxury success, it means building credibility for the brand and a presence that creates curiosity and a desire to learn more. With respect to our purpose, the definition of success remains the same as in Act 3, the same as it was in Act 1. Act 3 is all about making our customers' dreams come true. It's the same quiet satisfaction that we want that comes from turning on the key to your new Cadillac. It's about knowing that a B-Series could walk an AMG or an M-Series off the line. It's about catching your reflection behind the wheel, seeing yourself as the world does, and loving it. It's about daily celebrations, big and small, of all of our customers' success. You know, I think if we write Act 3 properly, the story will never end. There'll always be new dreams to fulfill and personal achievements to celebrate. An additional dimension of Cadillac's purpose comes down to our contribution to the city of Detroit, our role in this region and our role in this industry. I think Detroit's a proud place. It should be a proud place. It's a city in a region of uncommon resilience. If I may be so bold, I think that's a reflection on each of you. Cadillac is equally resilient. We're equally determined. We want to make Cadillac the hometown brand that's admired and the hometown brand that makes you proud. Not because we have a birthright, we clearly don't. We simply have a plan, and we think we have the discipline to see it through. Building sales volume, building share, that's our mission, and we're going to achieve it. But while that achievement is essential to our success, I think by itself it's insufficient. For that, we also need to realize our purpose, to make our customers' dream come true with a uniquely American offering in luxury markets all over the world. And if I can, over the course of this mission, we need to contribute to Detroit's resurgence and return Cadillac to a brand that helps Detroit's reputation grow as well. Finally, I talked to you about the analyst presentation that I made earlier this week. You get like an instant report card. You walk out and you immediately check the stock price. It went up a little. And then the next day they issue, you've probably seen them issue report cards. They issue, so there's no place to hide if you didn't do very well. So this one came out from Morgan Stanley. We spoke to them and then we let them drive our cars. And I'll just read you a brief excerpt. It's good, I wouldn't say that. I've had the fortune, the Morgan Stanley analyst says, of spending 12 years as a European auto analyst, where I regularly drove some of the best automobiles on the planet, typically of Teutonic and Italian origin. The ATS goes way up on my all-time list of fun-to-drive cars, up there with the 911 Turbo, the Carrera GT, and the M3. It's that good. Pretty cool, huh? The ATS, designed right here and manufactured in Michigan, I think it's going to be a world leader. Thank you for letting me speak to you today. I enjoyed the opportunity and I look forward to getting better acquainted. Thank you very much.
That have been around, some that are no longer with us, but this is what we give to all of our speakers. It's got your name on it, today's date, and hopefully you can find a space for this in your office.
No, I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.